is 80s pin-up guy. He looked the business. He still looks the business today. Nathan Moore from Brother Beyond. Morning, matey. How are you doing?
I'm lovely. It's all great. Yes, life's good.
I must start off by saying we get so many requests here at Mix 56 for the 80s. I think there's something about that decade. What was life like for you, Nathan, in the 80s?
It was a magic period, and to be involved in pop music and Stock Aitken and Waterman, the guys that wrote my song, The Harder I Try, it was just a great time. Top of the Pops was really important. So to get on that was like a dream, because as a boy, you would watch it thinking, wow, wouldn't it be wonderful to get on Top of the Pops? Smash hits and the magazines were really important. Radio was really, really important. You'd have to go to the radio stations. You'd have to do a radio tour, and we did all of that. I was on the cover of Smash Hits, and I was on Top of the Pops with Kylie and Jason and Rick and all of those. So great era to be part of.
So you started out in the music business. You've got some singles under your belt. How did the meeting with Pete Waterman come about, and how did that help you?
So Brother Beyond were working at Pete Waterman's studios, but with some other producers, because we wrote our own songs at that point. But we had 4 singles out, and they'd get to 56, 49. And I felt, and the band felt, we were about to be dropped. Then came our really lucky moment. There was a charity music business auction, and EMI had bid £25,000, and they won the sort of services of Stock Aitken and Waterman. And Pete, when we worked at his studios, there's always a traditional drink down the pub on a Friday afternoon. And I'd had a chat with Pete over a pint, and, so I think I stuck in his mind. And when he had a meeting with EMI about this charity bid, like who are they going to work with him? Who do you want us to write a song for? He said, look, we've met this band, Brother Beyond. Why don't we write a song for them? And that's how it came about. That was our lucky moment. And without that, we wouldn't be talking today.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because I think they're just the masters at catchy songs, aren't they? I mean, when you look at Rick now, what he's doing, and you go back to those early songs, they couldn't half bring out a great melody, couldn't they, those guys?
Oh, my God. And I've just been to see their stage musical, I Should Be So Lucky, which is really, really good. I think it will run and run. And the amount of great songs in it, it's just hit after hit. They do include Brother Beyond's He Ain't No Competition. That's a great moment in the stage play. And funny enough, I met the writer, and the lead character is called Nathan. And I said, how'd you come up with that? She said, well, I named him after you. I said, no. She said, yeah, really. So that was a lovely moment.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to know, isn't it? Yeah. And yesterday I was just checking out some of your older stuff on YouTube, and wow, you look very young on Top of the Pops, and it was great. With, of course, Gary Davis, who's now back, isn't he, on the airwaves. What was that moment like going on Top of the Pops? How nerve-wracking was that, Nathan?
Definitely nerve-wracking. I remember one of the performances, the keyboard player, Carl, we were going through it, and his keyboard fell over. We had to kind of stop. It wasn't one of the live shows. It was a pre-record. We had to stop, and the crew had to come in and pick it all up. But it's still like magic to be doing it.
I can imagine. So Nathan Moore with me on Breakfast this morning on Mix 56. Okay, Nathan, we're now going to play that song, He Ain't No Competition, which is in the new Pete Waterman musical. This is your song from Brother Beyond on Mix 56. And more from Nathan Moore in just a moment. And of course, Nathan, your huge hit that everyone sings along to was The Harder I Try. And it still means so much to you today, doesn't it, that song?
For me, it's such a pleasure to sing it now, 35 years later. Every year, every summer, I'm out there singing it, and it's a joy, and I feel blessed that I got the chance to do it.
You think of the 60s, don't you? And that was like an iconic decade. I think for most people, the 80s is, isn't it?
It seems to be so enduring. I remember 15 years ago talking to Kim Wilde, and I said, I think, by the time I get close to 60, it's going to be over, isn't it? I mean, how long can this go on for? And she said, yeah. Here we are. We're all still doing it. There seems to be no end to it. We still get the calls. I'm at Warner Hotels next weekend with Go West and Pat Sharp. Then I've got Butlins the month after. I mean, it's sort of never ending. And of course, June the 1st, Earlham Live. I'm there with Holly Johnson, Liberty X, The Farm, Ian Van Dahl, Aston from JLS. What a great lineup that is too.
It's a fantastic festival locally for us, and it's fantastic to see that you're going to be there this year, Nathan.
I love it when the parents bring their kids and I ask them, what are you doing here? And they said, oh, my mum plays 80s tunes all the time. We love your song, The Harder I Try. So it's sort of for the family, not just, mum and dad who are 50 odd. So looking forward to June the 1st, Earlham Live one more time.
I think your energy comes through. You're a great personality as well on stage, and a massive interest now in 80s revival shows and rewind shows, isn't there?
Rewind, and for many, many years I've done the Let's Rock retro festivals, and yeah, it's incredible that the 80s of all the eras is still really going strong. I mean, I used to look at all these Warner hotels and see all these 70s shows, and I wonder if they'll ever do the 80s, and now they are.
And you catch up with the boys as well, of course, from Worlds Apart and Brother Beyond.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, not many British people know that I was in another band called Worlds Apart. We did really well in France in the 90s. Some of our songs were half French, half English. Our biggest hit was Je te donne. And so at the end of April, I meet up with Steve and Cal. And, we meet in Switzerland, and then we go off to Paris, and then we do some TV shows. Because we have a tour called the I've Got a Feeling tour with a few other French acts in September, October, and that's in arenas around France. So I'm lucky to have these two sort of musical routes, Worlds Apart in France and then here on my own in the UK because of Brother Beyond. So I'm so fortunate.
What music did you love in the 80s? What kind of bands really did it for you, apart from Brother Beyond, of course?
Well, the reason I got into music was because of my sister. I was 17 and I got asked to join her band. It was called the Palm Tree Club, and they were a reggae band. And so me and my sister fronted this band. And at that time, you're not going to believe this, I listened to bands like The Birthday Party, Bauhaus, Killing Joke, Japan. Japan were my favourite band.
Okay.
Band of the early 80s. But I love Pete Murphy and Bauhaus. So, yeah, I kind of liked quite a lot of alternative stuff, but also liked a bit of pop and disco. So my tastes were a bit messed up.
Busy diary for you again this year, of course, the summer season. I bet you're out and about loads, aren't you?
Almost every weekend I've got something going on in the summer, but I love it. And Monday to Friday, I get to do the school run with my son, Nico. Me and my wife have got a property management business. We've got a few properties that we look after of our own. And so I like doing that. I'm the maintenance man. I turn up with my toolkit. And sometimes people say, where do I know you from?
Well, I noticed on your socials during lockdown, you were very busy renovating. I thought, I can do more than put a picture up. You can.
Yeah, my wife said, right, we better renovate some houses or do something in lockdown because you're not working. So that's all we did. It was really good to have that, to have something to get my teeth into, because obviously music wasn't there, no shows, nothing. I love getting my toolkit out and getting stuck in Monday to Friday.
Fantastic, Nathan. Well, listen, it's great to catch up with you on Breakfast this morning. Also, we look forward to seeing you at Earlham Festival. That's going to be a great gig as well.
I'm in many places, everything from Butlins to Warner Hotels, and I do a lot of 50th birthday parties. People see me and they see, like, wow, I get the party going. I'm Nathan Moore 80s on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I am Nathan Moore on Twitter. But I'm also this morning on Mix 56 Radio with Paul Smith. So yes.
Thanks so much, Nathan. Let's have that big song that we love. We know the words to this. Let's hear it now.
Thanks, Paul. Lovely.